too.
Boom. That we're working on.
Yeah, it's not
right.
too hard.
So we're going to go.
And I'm going to get an announcement, and I'm going to share it.
3, 2,
Yes.
1. We are live.
Yes.
The Life on Life's Terms podcast, and I'm Tom Robinson. And like I always say, we are not affiliated with any 12-step program. So that basically means, you know, we're not AA, and they're not responsible for what we're doing. However, AA has helped save my life as an intricate part of my sobriety. So you guys are...
Yes, I am
Right.
Chris Mandeville. I am a heroin addict in recovery. I am not anonymous.
No.
You know, this back in the day that was very important to people,
Right.
but today I think it adds to the struggle.
Well, I think that it helps AA do what AA do.
Yes. I was actually, I got a chance to speak last night at a IOP out in East Boston. A buddy of mine, Jack Harper, shout out to Jack, asked me to come out there, and you know, it was good, and there was a lot of it was funny because afterwards people came up to me and they were like, man, once I heard I was a speaker, I didn't even want to stay, but like he's like, they were like, you definitely, you know, told a good story because
Nice.
you know, we have to.
Yeah.
So LOLTerms.com.
Please subscribe.
Please like, subscribe, share this video now if you're watching it. The more people we can reach, the better it is for people to find the help that they need.
Get the message out there.
Yes.
Understand what it's like to be sober, that it's not all boring and all the stuff that you think it is when you're out there ripping and running.
Absolutely. So tonight we have Mike D. He's going to share his experience, strength, and hope with us and tell us a little bit about his story. We may make fun of him. We may cry. We may laugh. Who knows? We never know what's going to happen.
We cried.
Yes, we've done it all here. So
Thanks for coming, Mike.
we're going to turn it over to Mike.
Wow, thank you guys so much. It comes with the territory, and that breaks the ice very nicely. You know, a couple shots.
Yeah, couple
Bald head. I have
singers.
no bald head jokes quite yet. You know, but I think it's you know, anonymous comes with it, but nowadays more than ever, people need to feel like it's okay to talk about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I said it last night.
I
It's
agree.
2019, and people
It's-
don't know how to get sober.
You know, and
That's
it's
crazy.
It's so much more of a problem now. And if you look at the statistics on overdose deaths just in the past year, they're double.
Yeah,
They triple. And it's in every area. You know, like used to be an area where you'd say, that town's okay. There's nothing going on in that town. That town's safe. It doesn't matter what town or where you're from or where you grew up.
No.
It's absolutely everywhere. But I'm Mike D'Andrea.
Park Street to a park
and-
bench. It doesn't
Oh
matter.
yeah. Oh no, definitely. And I want to thank these guys for having me, because it means a lot for me to share my story, and you guys have been so active in our new page, Sobriety Rocks. But
Yeah.
you know, and it's going to take everybody to really get that going. But you know, recovering alcoholic came with a lot of cocaine addiction, and before that was just a mess of everything else. But that was the number one. I always liked the speed freak up. You know, I wanted to stay up for 3-4 days at a time. I never wanted to miss anything.
Oh yeah,
I was
FOMO,
like, you know,
fear of missing out.
FOMO, but it came with, I think it came with the band life too. But you know, I got to thank you guys. Kristen Scully asked me to come join.
Yes.
And I saw what you guys were doing, and I had no idea. It's my first podcast.
We didn't know what a podcast was really.
What's a podcast? You know, I don't know what a podcast
well,
was.
usually it's audio podcast, but
Okay.
but we, you know, that we've had great success with Facebook Live, and so we're
And
doing
it's good to
YouTube,
put a face to the name.
Yeah.
You know, and actually see it. I think, you know, when I'm
fun.
working,
It's good.
podcast is great. But if I'm
Right.
just chilling,
Yep.
you know,
Yeah.
I like to see things.
Especially on Facebook, people might not read your whole dialogue, but if you post a video,
Oh yeah,
they'll watch
Yeah.
that video.
That's the culture we're in.
Yeah.
You know, like
That's right.
like as sad as it is, the things that we see, the viral videos, someone overdosing, and someone is videoing them before they're helping them.
Not calling 911.
Right.
Not asking for help. seeing how many likes and views they can get. Check this out. I've seen that.
Yeah,
I've seen that. That's terrible.
There was a woman who had her child with her at a Family Dollar. She overdosed in the aisle. I read her story after that. For her to try and come back to any type of normalcy in her life was heart-wrenching. It was absolute torture for her to try and be a normal person anymore, because she was a viral video of the mom overdosed.
Yeah.
You know.
And you know, it's you're embarrassed. You know, and if people can get over the embarrassment, like, you got to stop caring what everyone else thinks and what everyone else's deal is. Because I remember that when I first, after multiple times trying, right? And I've been thinking back to when I was asked to do this interview. I'm like, geez, man, I start thinking back to like 12 years old, first drink, stealing the 6-pack out of the fridge, and bringing it to my buddy's house for the sleepover, and like how early it happened, and then all the way up. But I do remember being embarrassed,
But back then it was what? It was what? 2 beers? You were good?
Well, yeah. I got sick. I got sick and then got in trouble. I slept over my friend's house, and his dad found it and called my mom.
Oh, yeah.
And then was terrified to go home. Like, they're not going to find out the 1 6-pack's gone.
And then you were that kid. You can't hang around with Mike no more. He's a bad influence.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I was
Dude,
a
I
kid,
remember drinking crystal meth.
Really? I drank that too.
Creamed to mint.
Nails.
Yes.
It's like nails.
Midori.
God.
All the sweet
and I
stuff.
vomited. I couldn't drink it anymore. I vomited.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. It's just
Woke up in the tub.
Yeah. Wake up peeing in the trash.
Yeah, right.
You know, but you know, I was
glamorous.
thinking from the very beginning, you know, when you stop, because we spend so much time trying to get through the day, trying to make sure that this day is okay, trying to make sure that I do everything I can to not have a drink today. Sometimes you don't think about how it all started or the very beginning of it. I mean, I dropped out of high school in 11th grade. And my addiction, and I was already full into it. And I also believe that in this life, you get a certain amount of party time, and you can either use it all up, right?
Yes.
Or you can spread it out and have a couple drinks and be okay, and spread it out on the weekends.
So you have an allotted time for your addiction.
That's how I feel. You have
for your partying before it becomes addiction.
and you can either use it, like I used it all up from like 16 to 33. I used it all. I don't have any, you know. And some people can you know, go throughout and have a drink, and
they can pace themselves through life.
I couldn't.
You know?
there was no pacing. That was the thing. We couldn't stop. I could never. One wasn't enough, and it got to a point where I was making the call to set up before I even went out and started drinking, because you know what I'm saying?
Knew,
like,
you
we
knew.
knew we were making the call before we premeditated tomorrow night. Like, well, I'm gonna need a ball.
Yeah,
we're gonna. I'm gonna have, because I'm not.
Because we're gonna keep going.
We're gonna keep going, and it started so early.
I remember making the call before going out, and then you know, going out drinking, and then not going out and just making the call and drinking, and then not drinking and just making the call.
Yeah. Well, it started.
You know what I mean?
You and 6 years could split one.
Yes.
Then it was like, nope, we're gonna need our own. And then all of a sudden, you're independently going out spending 180 to 2 bills just on
and you're not telling nobody.
And I'm sorry.
Hey, you got anything? Yeah. When you're holding, you got it in there.
It was terrible. And I look back now, because I try to, you know, this sobriety has been so wonderful to me. And I've been thinking about that. We just buried my grandmother yesterday. It was the hardest day of my life. I read the eulogy, and it was the toughest thing I've ever had to do, to speak for the family. And I don't know how I got through it, by the grace of God and with my family and my friends. But I at least got to be with her and really embrace who she was, because I didn't get to do that with a lot of my family, because we were running, using, drinking. It didn't going to see Papa and Grandma and the cousins. That didn't matter. I didn't care about that. Or holidays. How many holidays did you ruin?
Listen, I
Especially
went to church.
Thanksgiving.
I went to church with my grandfather.
Yeah.
Every Saturday at 4 o'clock for years. Once I picked up, that stopped.
Yep.
You know, and I shared this last night at the meeting. Like, I was still active when my mom passed away. She died at 57 of emphysema, COPD.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I watched her take her last breath. My family left the room, and I took everything out of her purse. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I know that. Like that.
Yeah.
And that amends, I thought was going to be easy. You know, graveside amends. I thought it was going to be, oh, I'll just do these ones.
Yep.
No, I didn't get nothing back. I would rather have someone told me, you know, you're an asshole.
Yep.
But I got nothing.
That's because you were telling yourself you're an asshole.
Exactly.
For years.
Yes.
Behind the conscious mind.
You know, and it, you know, that's a terrible thing to have done. You know, you know, like my friend Teresa says, it is what it is, but it's not who I am today. That's not how I live my life.
We can change. We can change, and it's you know, it's only what I put into my body. I tell so many of that. I'm so sick of watching my friends die, and we're not going to name names, but I have a friend who his girlfriend lost her brother because he bought a bag of coke. It was laced with fentanyl. He sniffed it and died. And then there was another one, my customer today, her son's friend, same batch, Quincy, and this one was down towards Pembroke. And it's just you don't know. You have no idea what it is now.
I don't understand why they're doing that though. Like, if you want coke, you don't want to be down. Like, I understand. Is it marketing? Like, all right, we're just gonna get them hooked. You know what I mean? Like, it's
You know what Jamie said too. Jamie, I love you. Jamie Lee, the love of my life. She was looking up she was studying a little bit about it, and you know, if there's an overdose in one certain town, right? You're gonna see an influx in use in that town because people say, "Oh, that shit's bomb. He just couldn't handle his shit."
Listen,
that's and you'll see a fluctuation.
Yeah,
in that area.
They said that they showed that so poignantly on the movie The Gift. You ever see the movie The Gift?
I don't think I have.
I didn't see that one.
It's years ago, and the girlfriend's talking to her mother, and she says, "Hold on, Mom." Wraps her arm with the phone cord, hits and dies. And then the guy from Jane's Addiction comes home, and he's like, "Oh no!" He goes right for his stuff. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah.
And it was so poignant. And I watched it when I was watching that. I was just getting into using at the beginning, and I was like, "Yeah, I could imagine that." And well, that's tragic and that's terrible, but
that's what
don't mean anything when you're out there using it. It's
when I was out there,
nothing will stop you.
Right.
When I was out there doing what I was doing, you know, IV drug user, like, there wasn't overdoses like there is now at all. There wasn't. Like, you very rarely heard of it. And when you did, people came to you. You have that stuff? I want that stuff.
Yep.
Right.
That stuff was, you know, I had one guy, he told me, "Oh, yeah, man, they had to kick the door open at Dunkin' Donuts." He had just gotten out of jail. I told him, I said, "Listen, this stuff is strong. Like, you got to be careful." He OD'd. And he comes back to me. He's like, "I want some more." And then he told me that he overdosed. I'm like, "Dude, you're bringing the heat. Get out of here. Like, you got to go. I no way. I'm not selling you nothing else." You know what I mean?
Yep.
But nowadays, it doesn't matter. People are assuming that they're doing a Percocet 30, and it's something that someone made to look like that pill, and it's fentanyl. I know people that were doing 8 to 10 pills. They do one, and they're dying.
Oh yeah, everybody wants to be a dealer. The generation has stopped looking to work hard and build something for themselves, and everyone's looking for the easiest way out and easiest money, and it's a big market. Let's not bullshit.
Yeah.
It's addiction's a huge market, but you know,
it's a business. It's a big
it's
business.
a booming business, and I was involved in that business. Not proud to say it, but you know, we were selling out of my parents' house. You know,
well, you can imagine then if you are someone who had a lot of fentanyl and it's easy to make and it's really cheap, you're like, "I got to sell this. How am I going to sell it? I'm going to sell it. What do they want? They want Coke? All right, tell them it's Coke.
Yeah,
they
exactly.
want pills, press it into a pill. Tell them it's Perks.
Yep.
Whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was crazy. But I've been really thinking about how it began. The first friend that we lost, I was just talking to my friend Bryson, who's listening. I think right now he just got out of work. One of my best friends, he was there with me yesterday. One of my only, you know, that came and really supported through Graham's death. But we lost a friend named Jesse, and before heroin was a thing. It wasn't even a thing yet. This is 10 plus years ago. And he was the first one to go, and we were like, he hid it from absolutely everybody, and we had no idea. And he was the first one. But it started so early. It was accepted, not exactly accepted in the household, but you know, my parents had already chose their path. They had already chose their path, and our house was kind of like, our parents were like, "You might as well just stay here and hang out."
Oh, okay.
You might as well stay here and hang out.
You went right from here. You're not talking about heroin now. You're talking about drinking.
Talking about drinking. No, and to you know, set the record straight, I never used heroin.
Okay.
I'm one of the lucky ones. It never got that far. The brunt of it was Coke and E, and at the very end, Oxy, and I drank every day, and I started drinking at work and losing accounts, and that was the extent. I never took it to the next level. I got really,
but for the grace of God, really,
I got really lucky.
There, but for the grace of God, go away.
Yeah,
you know, and because I wanted to, be up, be awake, be alive. That's why Coke was such a big thing for me. Plus being in the band,
and like I didn't get into anything hard until like probably like 19. Like, I mean, I did plenty of acid, plenty of weed, plenty of booze, but I moved out to California. I went to my senior prom. A friend of mine gave me an 8-ball of Coke. I went to my senior prom. Anybody want to do some Coke? No, we got our own. I ended up giving it back to her. I didn't.
That's Brockton. That's the Brockton prom for you.
Yeah, I didn't touch it. I gave it back to her. It was like melted and sweaty from being in my suit.
Yeah.
And but then she went to jail, and I'm a young kid. I ain't stupid. Okay. She's like, "Do you want to take over my business?" Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we did that.
Yeah.
And then I seen how it affected people, because now my friends know what I'm doing. They're coming to me to get what they want.
Yep.
And you know, a good friend of mine, I went with him. He bought this sick car, spent like $4 grand. That night at 3 a.m, he was ready to give it to me for $60 worth of Coke.
Yeah.
And like he couldn't even speak. He was like ratchet jaw, you know. And I'm like, go home, dude. Go home.
Yeah. Seeing the loser birds so many times seeing the loser birds. We got so good at going to work on no sleep.
Yeah.
We got so good at getting in and going to work on no sleep, because I remember losing my first account. It's like 22, and it was a store in Marshfield, and I had started a job and had to finish the next day. So started the job, left work, went to a party, and I can remember still to this day the kid I was with in the basement 3 a.m. He's like, "You can do another one, it'll be fine. You can do another one, it'll be fine. You know, it'll be fine." I'm like, "You're right, I'll be fine. I'll just go in at 5." And then here 6 a.m. rolls around, 7 a.m., 8 a.m. Stayed up all night, couldn't go in, lost the account, left the job unfinished. And it was just the beginning of the end of it. But the trade helped really keep me grounded. It was something I could always control.
Flooring.
Yeah. Flooring. So my uncle's 4th generation floor installer. My dad was a carpenter, but my great-grandfather installed flooring. A.J. Rose in the city. And my 2 uncles installed here, Kent's Carpetland, which just went under.
Oh, really?
Which just went under after over 50 years.
I was in Norwell.
Yeah. And they taught me, and then, you know, we're not going to teach anyone else the trade. They're going to use their brains, and they're going to do other things, because the trade's terrible.
Yeah.
But you know, it started, and they would use every job, and I remember the first day that I went in, he's like, "You know, you're going to have to, we're going to drink, you know, we're going to drink, you know, you're going to have to get used to, we're drinking. We're not, just because you're my nephew doesn't mean I'm going to shield any of this shit from you." And I saw, you know, they didn't care. You know, 17, 18 years old, young installed, thought it was the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah. And it's crazy. Like, I know a lot of dudes in the flooring business, and they all end up in the halls, man.
Well, it's because it's so physically demanding.
Yeah.
Right? And you're getting such horrible financial shit, because you never pay your taxes. You get a personal check from the store.
Yeah.
You used to not even have to have you used to not even have to have insurances. A lot of these stores wouldn't care as long as you put the flooring in. You're a sub, they can cut you tomorrow.
Yeah, right.
If you want, but it did. It led to a lot. And one of my uncles, we were just talking about earlier, is still hardcore into it.
Yeah.
And proved himself yesterday that he needs a lot of help, maybe more than I can even. You gotta want to get better. I wanted to,
but that's but you doing what you're doing. You're just planting a seed. You never know what him seeing
lead
you
by example is huge.
Yep.
You know.
That's why you know they talk about attraction, not promotion.
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
And that it's huge, because people are suspicious of other people, especially people who use them, because everything they've known has been somebody trying to take their money or cheat them out of this or that.
Right.
And so you just lead by example.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
The example was get.
You got led into what you were doing by example.
There you
so
go.
It's crazy. I also remember, I was thinking of my first day of high school. I skipped my first day of high school, and we smoked on the way in. That's how I entered school. These kids were all smoking before the bus, And we smoked, and we got on the bus, and he's like, no, you can skip with me. This kid was in 10th grade. I was going into my first year in high school. And I remember that's how I kind of entered school, was wrecked, you know? and it just spiraled from there. Never cared. And
I remember taking acid in shop
Pink
at
elephants.
Southeastern.
Pink, you know,
I'm
white blotter.
I'm decorating a baby shower cake.
Yeah.
So I have to make babies crawling across this cake, and I'm tripping my socks off. And these babies are legit crawling across the cake. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the girls that were in the shop, like, they knew it, and they're walking around. Each one of them's going like beep, beep, and all different spots, different times. And I'm like, my teacher's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine, Mr. Deacon. I'm fine."
Oh yeah, I remember the first time the cops came to get me at school because I reeked like weed, and I walked around still trying to go to class, but you still stink.
Yeah.
And we would drink before school, and skip and drink during, and then try to come back, which was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Try to come back in. I remember, I'll never forget. Cops came, arrested. My mom showing up crying, trying to beat the shit out of me, and it was like terrible, and we still didn't care.
Yeah.
And it was like 10th grade, and then going into 11th, it was so bad they couldn't control me or what I was doing.
Do you think that's it seems like that wouldn't be exactly how you probably cared, right?
Well,
but you didn't stop.
There was so much influence to go the other way. When we were young, we were hanging out with the older cats, and it was just how we grew up. I mean, we started drinking. The first time I started drinking was 12. We started drinking at 12.
Yeah.
And then 16, 17, we were like drinking.
Oh, yeah.
We were going out with
Who got the tap? Who got the tap?
Yep.
Buying kegs.
Yep. Well,
That's
we
what
had this
did.
Chinese joint in Kingston, and they would sell to everybody. They would serve they were just trying to.
Was it a restaurant?
Yeah.
So you just go to the back.
Yeah.
Cold tea. You want cold tea?
So well before we were 21, we were in there drinking. It was a full blown addiction before we could legally even have a drink. That's how we were.
Yep.
Remember the Lake Palace? Is that
No.
what you remember? No, that was in Pembroke. Oh, it's the snake.
Oh yes,
10 years in
right by
Pembroke.
the water.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I know
Snake
exactly.
Palace.
God, it's something else now. I know what you're talking about. It's
Yeah,
something else now.
Something else now. Yeah.
You know, but it was we were introduced so early, and that's like with our kids. It's like we're gonna shield them, we're gonna show them the right way, and then ultimately it's on them. But at least we can shape and mold and really show them, because we didn't have that. It was accepted. It was socially accepted to have a drink, to do some coke, you know. And then we went to that ecstasy phase. We were rolling all the time. We were doing that, and
I was at the I was getting clean like at the beginning of that. You know, like I remember 99, 2000, like giving people like a fat stack of cash, like you're taking a train to New York. All right, let's go.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, if you do not come back, I will find you.
Yeah.
And this kid's like, bro, I'm going for myself. I'm like, yes. You know.
Well, we were, you know, we didn't have to being in the band. We will basically host the party. We were like professional party animals. So it attracted
everything was
so
free.
much, and you know, we got a great guy who's been very you know, he's been coming to the surface more. Matt Zagrodny, one of my great friends. Matty Z, I love you, brother. He was in my first band. He introduced me to my first band, 2006 Head Nod, and we were like a metal band.
Nice.
And we went so hardcore.
All right, so we're into it a little bit.
Yep.
Metal band.
Yep.
What happened?
Dude, there it is. I don't know. They all warned me that I was gonna start balding real early. real early. I
just had to get it out of the way.
It's okay.
Bro.
You can bring. It's okay.
Good.
Bring
It's
the
all
heat.
good.
And my hair was terrible even when I had hair. And I remember my friend Danny's son came up to me, and this was like the turning point. He said, "What's wrong with your hair?" It's like everybody's thinking it. You just finally said it.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna start shaving it.
Yeah.
But we were,
Kristen seen my high school picture not too long ago. It was like a helmet, bro. It was like long.
No.
80s.
Oh,
The 80s.
I never had good hair. It was terrible. It was terrible. This is a lot easier. Saves me a lot more money to keep
There
up
you
with it
go,
a lot
yeah.
more. You know, but Maddie's been great. Big shout out to Maddie Z for 41 days without a drink, bro.
Oh,
Nice.
he's the one that went live last night.
He went for his first time.
And
First
he was
time.
speaking to a friend of Kristen's, Julie.
Yep.
Julie, like, this
Julie,
is
we
awesome
love you, Julie.
that you're doing what you're doing.
Yep.
On, you know, not even in the same state.
Yep.
Like, and you're continuing to do this daily, and that's all we have is a daily reprieve. All you got to the record for sobriety is 24 hours.
That's it.
You know?
Well, you know, the more the people are just going online. People are interacting less in person, going online, and you know, we need to move this recovery thing on into the online space.
That's what we thought.
That's everybody's platform.
That's
You
what we.
know what
That's
I
the
mean?
platform now. And what, you know, Julie, you are inspiring.
I know.
We're literally watching your journey from day one. But that's what we said. In my first year of sobriety, you can't help anybody. I was just trying to figure out who I am.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
You know, it was terrible trying to figure out exactly what I really wanted. And I tried to sober up multiple other times, but once the woman I was living with didn't when I did, and I thought that was going to be okay. She could still drink when I wasn't, and that
in new sobriety, that's
it
that's
didn't
a
work. But I
dangerous
thought I was
combination,
strong
yeah.
enough to do that.
Right.
But there was still no meetings at this point. This was like I was trying to cold turkey, just and with the help of my friends.
You didn't know what you didn't know.
I didn't know what I didn't know, and then the second relationship when I tried, I found out how terrible what she had going on. I couldn't see it until I sobered up.
Yeah.
And I remember her saying, you know, AA is really going to fuck our relationship up. I remember her saying that. I'm like, whoa. And then, you know, that came to a screeching halt pretty fast.
Yeah.
And that still wasn't enough to keep me sober. Went back again, kept using, kept drinking. And on this last one, man, it was crazy. We had this residency where we play out, you know, every week, weekly residencies. We've been doing that for 10 years, you know.
Yeah.
And
with the band.
yeah, with the band. So we had one, and we did this for like 6-7 years. Tuesday night get down, and my brother-in-law came with me, and it was Tuesday night. We all got to work the next morning.
Yep.
And it was just another night. We finished up with the band, and we went to the after party, 2 a.m. We're like, no, we still got time. You know what I'm saying? So you got to get up at 6 a.m. It's 2 a.m. You're like, no, we're still okay. It's not bad yet.
Yeah.
It's okay. And then 4 a.m. rolls around. We got another ball, and we're like, no, we'll be all right. It's only 4 a.m. It's okay. It's only 4. So this was the day that we quit, and we went to. It's right near Cameron's house in Plymouth. That's a woman's sober home. The church that I went to for my first meeting. And I dropped off Adam, who I love so much, my brother. I wouldn't be able to do this without you, Adam. I know you're listening right now. And they're going to interview him very shortly.
Yeah.
I dropped him off
coming on.
to his wife, who was my sister, at 5:30 in the morning on a night where we both had to get up for work the next day.
Your sister, knowing like
Wrecked.
5:30 in
Wrecked.
the morning.
You know she's gonna be pissed, bro.
She's getting up the next day. I don't think you're going down. That's
You're not
the
going down.
problem.
You fake sleep. Remember the fake fake sleep?
Oh yeah.
You act like you're sleeping next to her.
Yes.
Yep.
So you can.
Oh
Man,
what?
really? Yeah.
Oh no, I've been here, babe. No, you don't remember waking up when I came in?
Downstairs with the dogs for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
And,
I passed out on the couch.
yeah, and so I dropped him off, and my sister woke up, and she was like, "Fucking you get out. I'm done with you, And this was like, oh my God, this is real. This is like she left. She got up and left, and then I went home and had it out with the woman that I was living with, and she left, and Adam kept. He'll tell his story, but I stopped then. Right, that was January 20th, the morning of. And
So you just celebrated. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. 3 years
3
without a
years.
drug, no hard
Yes.
drugs, man. No
Nice.
cocaine, no drink.
Nice.
Nothing?
Feels.
I know,
You don't
dude.
do
I
nothing?
get that all the time. Like,
It was amazing.
you haven't done anything.
It's like,
No, I haven't done
No,
anything.
It's really possible.
and so she
It's
left,
actually beautiful.
and I stopped, and he went hard for one more day. And he was up now for over 48 hours straight. And Rob will tell you this. Rob Pagnano, one of my great friends, he's almost 3 years. He'll be 3 years in March.
Nice.
And he called me and he says, bro, your brother's at my show. Rob was playing T-Bones in Plymouth. And he's
Okay.
like, he's a fucking mess, and he just got another package. And I'm like, well, I can't come get him. I'm dealing with my mess right now. I'm definitely not going to drive. And so our friend Bryson,
Good decision.
who I was just with an hour ago, went and got him and took him home. And then I met up with him, and we went to the first meeting where we saw a couple friends there, and he was wrecked, and I was still coming down.
Yeah.
And,
still
and
coming down.
Your
and you got
first
your
meeting,
first
and you're
meeting?
coming down.
it
Woo!
was terrible.
Did you
but-
cry?
Oh, I've been crying for the last 4 days with Graham. I've never been more of
but
an
that's okay.
emotional mess.
That's
Good.
okay today.
But it's
Life.
Listen,
let it out.
It was
Feel the feelings. It's okay.
terrible.
Yeah.
I felt it, but it was good to get it out. And we went, and I remember seeing one of our friends and it was kind of relieving to see him. We were
Like,
you
oh,
know,
this is where you been?
I'm like, oh, you're here too. I don't feel like such a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like I don't even know how to feel. And I got the big book, and I started reading through that, and I also, you know, got the Bible, and I got tattooed on my side. He will not test you beyond your strength. Along with the test, he will provide a way out, so you may be able to endure it. And like those little things helped me, but it was real at that point. Finally, I knew I didn't care what anyone thought. And if you're listening out there, don't care what anyone thinks about the decision you're going to make to stop drinking or using, because that's what held me back for a long time. What's the band going to think? How am I supposed to be a party animal? How can I play not drunk? How can I, like, we never played sober. I remember my first sober show. I was like right on time. We had a code word, a safe word. It was Oklahoma. They would the band would turn when I was playing too fast. I was playing 100 miles an hour because I'm jacked up, jazzed up, wrecked, and I'm like 3 times as fast as the song should be playing. They'd turn around and go Oklahoma. To slow down. I remember playing my first sober show. Like the timing was perfect. My energy was there. My endurance through the show. I once fell off the back of my drum stool during a song. So shit faced.
Yeah, right.
Wrecked and tried to jump off
Motley Crue style.
Oh, it was terrible. Tommy Lee.
Yeah.
the drums spin around drums. I still want one of those.
But
you know,
how good was that feeling? I'm sure you thought, I can't fucking play not using. I can't. I need a drink to play.
It came with it. It was in Matt Zagrodny, 40 Days Sober. We love you. Will attest to that because we did piles of it. At practice, we were in Bandstand Live in Taunton. Remember Bandstand Live?
I think I do.
Thumbprint access code, 200 bands, 24/7.
Yeah, it was like studios.
It was just like this, studios.
Oh, yeah.
And we put a couch in there, so we'd take turns using, sleeping, staying, sleeping, staying.
I had a practice space. I used to be a musician as well. I had a practice space like that in Seattle. We used to cook coke in there, you know.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah. It was our safe spot.
Yep.
And it was
smoke heroin, black tar in there.
Oh, you get at it. Whatever it took to
Chasing
write
the
the next
dragon.
song. Whatever it took to write the next. I remember tripping, writing, and the symbols were like spaceships. And like it was like I'll never, like those days where it was, and we all of a sudden it was like 24 hours. Like fuck, it's tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
But we play once we started, it was a change because, and Adam, will tell you this. We're like, they're looking at us differently now. But now it's more about the music. It was solely about partying for so long. We lost touch on what the music meant.
Yeah.
What the music meant, and we weren't progressing as musicians. And it was crazy the way it transformed into just being for party. But we would host it, and I would make an announcement on the mic. All right, we're all going back to my place, and I had the place.
After party.
It would be an after party forever, and it was crazy. And I'm so proud of Matt because he lived that with me. 2006, 7, 8, and we were playing big Boston shows, and it was crazy. And now you play sober, and it's like we can really depict what the music means to us. We're writing differently. I think I look back at some of the music we wrote. I'm like, fuck, what the fuck what were we thinking? I'm like, fuck, I can't play that anymore. We can't.
Yeah.
I'm not cutting that and releasing that song anymore. Like, this is crazy. I don't live like that anymore. That's not what I believe in, because I feel like your values stay the same, but your beliefs change throughout life. So your values, good person, don't want to hurt nobody, love my family. Those are your values. But your beliefs, I gotta be messed up to play. That was, I believe that.
Our belief system has to be tossed right out the window.
Belief as well.
It was a false belief, and then all of a sudden you sober up, and you're like, wow, I don't have to. I believe something differently now. And first year of sobriety, I had to find myself. I couldn't help anybody. This group, Sobriety Rocks, and you can check that out. I'll add you in, or you can ask to be added into the group, and we'll add you in.
This is a Facebook group.
This is it's private, and we were talking about going public. We're going to stay private as of right now, so we can kind of monitor who's in the group while we're just launching, and so we can set the right tone.
Yes, because we did the same thing. We went public right off the rip.
Okay,
and it was kind of madness, and we had an IT guy come in and work with us, and he was like, "No, let's close this, and like you'll need approval because anyone could add anyone," and then people were getting mad.
Yeah,
like we had talked about earlier. some people don't want to be in these groups. Some people don't want to be tagged in this stuff.
Yeah,
you know?
don't just tag
Okay.
people if you're listening.
I see what
Don't
you're saying, yeah.
ask. You want to say, listen, I got a group. If you'd like, I can add you. I think it's going to provide some support. Ask their permission, because if you don't, people aren't going to take it not even a little bit seriously.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and I see you guys. I can't thank you guys all enough for helping this page blossom. The growth has been off the charts. But in my first year, I couldn't help anybody. We had to help ourselves. I remember we had to cancel 2 months of shows, and it was terrible because we go and play Loon Mountain every year. We played the Paul
really?
Bunyan Lounge with Rob Pagnano, my man. Big shout out to Rob. And we'd go play with Last Call on 6 Foot Sunday, but it was a coke fest, and we would just drink nonstop.
It was snowing, whether it was snowing or not.
It was whether it was snowing. So we played February 1st. So I sobered up January 20th. I'm like, Adam, we can't fucking go to Loon. We can't go in the hotel room with everybody, and I'm not ready.
You knew.
I'm not ready. So we canceled 2 months of shows, and people were pissed.
Wow.
Because the other members of the band didn't, but we said, I'm sorry, guys, we can't do this right now. And then we slowly started playing again, and it took on a new form. And then in the second year of you financially unfuck yourself. It's kind of what my cycle was like. I look back, $40,000 in debt.
Really?
Never paid taxes, just hanging on by a thread with my accounts because I was a great installer and still am and can still do it. So they kept me because, subcontractor, they still keep me along. And that's kind of what happened in the second year was.
Do you remember a feeling of being like having a fear of the future? Like some kind of shoe was going to drop any minute, like you owed something coming up, and it was just this feeling, a financial insecurity feeling.
Yep.
That it was always the date. I didn't want to know the date because the date means that I'm going to owe
Something's due.
Something's due.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I didn't pay something.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
blah blah
yeah.
blah. And when I realized that feeling had gone away and that I had been responsible for multiple years, it didn't go away for a long time. Then it finally went away. I was like, what a great feeling it is. It was like most of my adult life up until, a few years after sobriety or more than a few years, really.
Yeah.
It's a great feeling to be caught up. It's a great, because we're going to buy a home. For the first time, we're gonna try to get that mortgage.
Yeah.
And there was like no chance in hell that I was I was gonna rent for the rest of my life, and I was cool with that. You accepted. Like, I'll just rent for the rest of my life.
Yeah, right.
Maybe we'll
Settle
do a
down
rent
less.
to own. Maybe she'll.
Yeah. Like a coach at Rent-A-Center?
Yeah. So, it was crazy. What in the second year, I'm like, if I ever want to own anything or really be a successful business owner, I'm going to have to clear this debt up. And we got on a financial plan that I could actually stick to. And it started. It started.
I read this book, and I didn't read it till I was in sobriety for a while. I read it like 4 years ago. But what a fantastic book. It's called Wealth Wounds.
Okay.
It's written by a guy in sobriety and who's healed his relationship with money. And it was really helpful for me. It's an unbelievable book.
I'm going to take a
Wealth
note of that. I
Wounds.
want to definitely because
I got it on audiobook,
Well, we do a lot of audiobook. Yeah, Jim Rome, Zig Ziglar,
Oh,
Tony
yeah,
Robbins,
Jim
because he's
Rome.
so real. Tony
Yeah,
Robbins will give it
Tony's
to you straight.
Hey.
Fantastic.
Russell Brand.
Russell Brand's
Awesome.
fantastic.
I didn't
Joe
know he
Rogan.
was such a Joe's podcast, right? That was kind of the first podcast I watched.
Right,
w-
right.
Was him. He's real. He'll give it to you real.
Joe
And
Rogan?
you
Yeah,
need
I
that
listen to
nowadays
Joe
too to relate
every week.
to that.
But
Yeah.
but like Russell Brand, he's on another level. Like
I
and-
haven't-
and he has mentors, he has coaches for every area of his life.
Okay.
Like Trent Shelton, awesome. Who else do we listen to? Billy Ellsberg. You ever
No.
read his book?
No.
Check that book
Okay.
out. We have a meeting in Situate based on his book. It's called
Okay.
War. We Are Recovered.
Oh, that's very cool.
Saturdays from 4 to 5:30.
That's very cool.
Small, intimate meeting.
I'm going to get over there
Great.
one of these
Yeah.
Saturdays. Every Saturday.
Social peer
I aim
recovery.
for it, but I can't
I went to
can't get there.
in Pembroke on Union Street, and that was the church because I live so close. But I would always sit in the back and be very quiet.
Denial
I was
aisle.
just like,
Denial aisle.
Denial aisle. I wasn't really, but now my brother's so amazing. He attends meetings a lot more than I do.
Yeah.
And he's like speaking, and he's come so far. It's so amazing. But yeah, I was definitely the guy in the back, like, shh.
Hey,
You know what?
Denial Aisle is
No.
still in the meeting.
Absolutely.
I was still there. And then that was kind of like the second year was where am I at financially? Let's make let's build something. And then we hit 3 years, and me and Adam were talking a couple months ago, and we were like, we should start something online. Everything I do is online. I built the business with Kayani, which I'll talk about, our health and wellness company, which helped me stay sober because the meetings were great, but everyone's different. I needed something more, something that I could build. And when I was introduced to this health and wellness company, it helped really reinforce so many positives that I needed. And everyone's different, and the meetings helped, and they were great. But this helped on another level.
Something you could put your energy towards.
Because I need to, because I'm a workaholic.
Yeah,
and I can't.
Once we put it down, now what are we going to do with our time?
Oh, they told me I've been burning the candle at both ends my whole life, and it hasn't stopped. And so
exactly,
we're coming up on 3 years, and we're like,
I can relate to that.
Oh yeah, we're like, well, you know what? Not only are we hitting 3 years together, but why don't we start something? Because I got to give it up to Jack Donahue. I think my saxophone player. He's over a year sober. Never went to a meeting, but followed our lead. And my great friend Josh McGrath, his son, I'm his son's godfather, JJ. He's over a year sober, and this is a hardcore tradesman. Fucking everything's black and white. And like we never, and he never went to a meeting either, but he followed our lead, and we felt like we were walking a path, and some people were coming in behind us. And saying, all right, maybe it's okay to not have a drink. Maybe it's all right. And we saw it more and more, and it wasn't many people, but it was a few that really meant a lot to us. I'm like,
that's what matters.
This is actually happening. So
I think it's a great thing with the group mentality or the team mentality is definitely can be a positive thing if it's in a positive direction. Right? That's fantastic.
That's how the 12-step programs work. Community groups,
part of big part of it.
Like we were talking earlier, accountability.
Making amends was so big for me. God, I tortured so many fucking people. Especially, and that was a big deal. And I'm going to go through them again because it was since 2016, that I've really, really gone through. And we're coming up on 3 years, and we said, let's do something. And we thought we wanted to think of a name that kind of embodied what we stand for. Sobriety rocks. It's okay. Sobriety's cool. It's okay to be sober.
Right.
Like it rocks. It's okay. And we figured maybe a couple people will join, one or two. We'll add a couple of our friends, and they'll see that, these guys are now okay with starting a group because everything's done online. And I posted a link to an online AA meeting for Julie because she's got 4 kids. And we have kids, and you can't always make a meeting.
This is why we do this.
I love
This is why we do this, because now I don't know how many people we're helping, but
gotta be helping a couple.
We gotta be. I've had people message me. I've had people say thank you. Like, I want that mom who can't leave because she has 4 kids. She has to bathe and feed and take care of and do laundry. Pop in your headphones. Put the friggin' iPad on the counter and listen. Be able to listen. You want to pause it? Pause it.
That's huge.
That's right.
Go get snacks.
Yeah.
Go get snacks. Make them Cheez-Its.
Okay, you want some popcorn?
This is popcorn. Come back.
Yeah.
Jamie says she had a great day being snack bitch.
So how was your day? She's like, it was great.
Yeah, Cheez-Its, peanut butter. I love you, Jamie, so much. You're so amazing with the kids.
These are the people that we want to reach. The people that can't get out. The people that, some people are so scared to be out socially.
But I was terrified.
They deserve to have recovery.
That's
and
right.
if we can bring it to their living room, #recovery at your fingertips. That's like ours.
I love
recovery
that.
At your fingertips.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Boom.
You can start your own brand just from that right there.
Yeah.
#sobriety rocks. #one day at a time. And that's this. We have to roll with the punches. The world. Look what Jeff Bezos does. Buys Whole Foods. Knocks out retail all over the world. Look what Peapod does with Stop and Shop. I don't even have to leave my house. But Jamie does it with Walmart. We can put our order in or Amazon. With Jeff Bezos. And we did all our shopping on Amazon. So we got to roll with the punches. Plus, I'm really busy, and I want to spend time with the kids.
Right.
And we work so much.
What was it? Getting your time back.
getting our time back.
The other day, getting our time.
I got my time back a little bit at a time.
Right.
Yeah. So we're thinking, we're like, why don't we launch a private group where people, and then we're like, well, maybe it won't work because there's so much about this is anonymous. So many people don't want to let you know who they are, and it's a touchy realm, but let's do it anyway. So Adam came up with the name. We were snowballing and some names, and Sobriety Rocks with the guitar neck, and we're going to trademark that. We have to make a few adjustments to it. And we said, let's launch it when we hit 3 years. And I think it was a great time to do it, because we almost didn't, because, who am I? I don't know. We had questions. We're like, who's going to follow? Who really wants to be so public about this? Not everybody wants to be public about this. So we launched it, and we added a few people. And then here comes Chris. Chris. And I'm like, this guy.
Did you say earlier nationwide?
This is not like nation. Well, it was so refreshing to have someone like you, because I still feel like I'm in early sobriety, whatever that may be. I don't know. I mean, I feel like I got a long way to go still. And so many people have so much more time under their belts to coach and to train and to inspire. But I threw all that out the window, and we said, let's just do it. And then, what you've done to help us promote this has been changing. It's changed the game, because you're also rolling with me and saying, it's okay, it's cool, it's okay. You don't have to. You don't have to. And then all of a sudden we got our first 50 members. Then all of a sudden in the first week it went to 100. Then it hit 150 this week. Now I got 75 more member requests to go through, and we're going to be at 200. And we had a goal. We had a goal of trying to put 500 in the first month to really get some traction. And I can't believe how much it's taken off. And to hear these stories of like Julie Ayotte coming out and saying, she came into the group. This is why we did this. She came in and she said, I think I got a problem. I want to make a change. I'm not sure how. And then 15 people jumped in and said, we got you. Here's this. Post a link. Here's some personal development. That made me so happy. I was overwhelmed with joy, because we helped, and together, because I don't have all the fucking answers. I don't have all the answers, but
like she reached out to Krista, and Krista was like, oh, check this out, boom, because you had invited her to it. And now, so you got connections. You set her up with some people down there, down where she's at.
We set them up, and we keep connecting. We're networking through this beautiful group of changing your life and seeing things differently. I see everything differently now. The way I work, much better tradesman. Care so much more about the work I do. I'm really enjoying. Like, we finished up a kitchen floor today, put the trim on perfect, the caulking, everything looked fucking beautiful. The trim was perfect. She comes in, she loves it. She's gonna walk on this kitchen floor every day of her life. And I did that. And I take so much more pride in it now. And music, it's different now. The way we wrote 4 or 5 years ago compared to the way that we're writing now, it took on a new meaning.
Listen, I don't know about you, but music has got me through some of the hardest times in my life.
It's a great communicator.
Because there's things that I can't voice. There's things that I can't get out. But I know a song that talks about it.
Yeah,
boom, I put it on.
I can relate to that.
And it can change you in a second. Change your mind, process, your thought process instantaneously. You're having such a horrible day, and you're thinking about drinking, and you might go get a bag, and then if you're strong enough to try to refocus and rechannel that energy on something else, that was a big portion of my first year. Was I had to be in a mind state of happiness. I had to find things that made me in music. Music was huge. In early,
Listen, it's funny. I had the opposite experience when I was getting sober, because I had taken on this identity. I think that was holding me back, and I had to shatter that. So I pushed music out of my life for a time. Because I had so closely related it with this particular type of identity that I saw myself as, and I wasn't allowing myself to grow, and I wasn't allowing myself to be humble, and it was a defense mechanism allow me to be continue to use and all this. And then I had to after being in sobriety for a number of years, I had to like figure out that there was some good parts. And go back and shake hands with my former self and be like, okay, well, I wasn't all bad.
Yep.
Right.
You know, and but for a while, and when I was in for my first 2 years of sobriety, I decided that I would walk through life as a miserable prick if I had, not mean to people, but just being miserable if I had to. I'd just put one foot in front of the other, but there was no way I was going to stick a needle in my arm again. It was never going to happen, and I didn't care how miserable I got.
Right.
And, and that was like my, that was my, I wish I was, because I was around, I had 3 fantastic friends of mine, none of which have willing to come on the podcast, but...
It's not that time yet. Timing's different for everybody.
Timing's different for everybody. That's right. My brothers who got sober with me were having the time of their lives, you know, and they would make fun of me for being the Debbie Downer.
Oh, we all got that. we all got that.
And we had I had a ball with them. You know what I mean?
Right.
I really did.
People don't realize you come into recovery, into sobriety. They think their life's ending. No, your life's just beginning.
It's just beginning, but it's such a big part of it. I mean, how can you? 16 years old, you know, all the way through my 20s, I don't remember so much.
Right.
You know, I can't it's such a big part of your life. And then I couldn't sleep. I remember not being able to sleep. Right. And that's where Kayani really helped, because I wasn't eating.
Yeah, you weren't taking care of yourself.
For days, we weren't eating. You know, just Coke, just drink, just keep... and you know, we didn't eat. And then when I did sober up, January 20th, I was introduced to Kayani in April. I was white knuckling it for the first and still living with an addict, which was terrible. And
that's tough. It is trying to stay sober, living with someone.
I could change her.
Of course,
I could change
absolutely.
it. If I lead from the front, and I can. That didn't happen.
Well, it's not in early sobriety. It's very tough. That's why I don't agree with watching people nod off on Suboxone in the program when you're sitting there trying to stay sober. Yeah. Although maybe it works for some people. I don't know. I don't have all the answers, but I could never do it. I'd be like, I want to be comatose like him. That's what I was like. You know what I mean?
Well, they feel because their body is currently present, and it's okay to.
The thing is, like, I'm not knocking medically assisted treatment. I don't think any of us are.
Go to
but
detox.
it's a personal preference.
Yeah, I guess you're
if your end game is abstinence, do what you got to do.
Sure.
But like, I did methadone, and I thank God Suboxone wasn't out when I got sober, because I'd probably fucking still be on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because that's the type of person I am. I know that I can't do anything.
Yep.
So if you're using medically assisted treatment and you're using it the way it's supposed to be used, absolutely more power to you. Like, do what you got to do. If your end game is abstinence and to be off of everything, more power to you. And I'm not saying that people can't take medication. I ain't a fucking doctor. I can't tell you that you can't take medication.
That's right.
You know,
never make a medical claim in my life.
No way. Like, if you got anxiety, you might need anxiety medication. You got depression, you might need depression medication.
But
that is why you probably used to begin with.
Right. But let's pinpoint. Let's figure out.
Don't walk into the doctor and tell him what you need. Let him diagnose you. Let him, go through some time.
Oh, yeah,
Talk to these people.
Let time have time.
You can walk into a doctor in 12 minutes and leave with 5 prescriptions.
I remember my first friend who did that for Klonopin. He went and duped the doctor while we were in high school. I'm like, what? You did? That's great.
Yeah. Really? What'd you get?
Let's go. This is great. You got a script?
Yeah.
High school.
Every month?
It was like forever?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But, when we weren't eating. We weren't eating, and that's where Kayani was not only a platform for me to show people that there's another way, health and wellness can be cool, but it gave me the nutrition back that I didn't have forever.
Right. So this is a company that you're part of, and what do they sell?
So we market online, and it's a health and wellness company. So it's a 1 ounce pouch with 22 superfoods, super high in antioxidants. Like, I haven't been sick in 2 years. Our kids take it. I have 20 plus family members on it.
So it's like vitamins.
It's berries. It's
supplements.
It's supplements. It's 22 superfoods with the purest extract from the berry. right? Based on all natural ingredients.
What is it? What is Alaskan?
It features the Alaskan wild blueberry, which is like 10 times higher in antioxidants. So antioxidants cross the blood-brain barrier, help you stay healthy, make you feel good, natural energy boost. And it was just right time, right place. I met the woman, Mr. Rob Pagnano, introduced me to this because of my knees. Crawling around on the floor, wrecked my back.
I painted for years.
Oh, yeah.
Still paint.
Oh, yeah.
Paint Tom's house.
Oh, it was terrible. So he came to me, and he said, first of all, Mike, this is going to help you sleep. It's got these omega pills, these fish oil pills, pure tocotrienol vitamin E, which helps you stay asleep and get into REM sleep. So even if I'm only sleeping a few hours, I'll sleep through. And I don't have to have Red Bulls 5 times a day because it's like a natural energy boost.
Yeah.
So he came and he said, this is going to help your knees. And sure as shit, in the first week, I felt relief and my inflammation had stopped.
Wow.
And not only that, but it was brand new to the East Coast. It was a company that had been around for 10 years. But because they're privately owned,
it was all West Coast.
It was all West Coast. Nobody knew about it. So I met the woman, Miss Jules Marquisio. I love you so much. I think she's on right now. I met her, and she says, nobody knows about this. The timing's right. We're gonna take over. So I bought distribution rights, and everyone looked at me like I was fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like this ex-addict,
those things.
this alcoholic, who all we know is the guy at the party at 5 a.m. who's still got the Coke.
Yeah.
Is now in a health and wellness company. Great.
Yeah.
You know
what's next?
Really?
You know what that makes me think of? There was a guy out in California. I think he started the company Herbalife.
Oh yeah.
He sold crystal meth. And then he's like, "Oh, ephedrine. Okay, I'm just gonna legally do it."
Yeah. So it was, they looked at me like, I'm crazy. This is just a crutch because you're in early sobriety and you don't know what you need, what you have. This is just a group that you can latch onto. But I saw so much more than that. What I saw was it helped me. My cousin took it through her whole pregnancy. It helped my mom with her fibromyalgia. It helped my aunt with her Lyme's disease.
Really?
We have a testimonials page with 60,000+ people that it's helped with. I would never make a medical claim, but you can message me personally and I'll show you, the success testimonials of how good nutrition, other than drugs and alcohol, can change your whole life. Wow.
Listen,
who would have thought you'd feel better by putting
the U.S. we're allowed to eat shit that's outlawed everywhere else in the world.
They gotta prove it killed somebody to take it off the shelf.
Yes.
You gotta prove that it's, So what it did was it gave me something to build, to believe in, and the company is so pure. So we were one of the first. I built a team of hundreds, and it's not only a path to financial freedom, but I shared it again with a woman today who was a nurse, and she saw it and she says, I can't believe the what's in this. This is crazy.
Yeah,
this is gonna help. And her mother lives with her, and her mother's 80 years old and won't eat. And this will at least provide some daily nutrition. Or, like my dad was trying to lose weight to get his hip surgery, right? Because they wouldn't put him on the table until he hit a certain target weight, right? And he got that date now. It's in March. But he would skip breakfast and just take this supplement because it's getting, you got your vitamin B, your vitamin D, your vitamin A, and it's going to get you through to lunch. So it's helping on that aspect too. But it was an amazing outlet with an amazing company with a product that it changed the way I feel. It was instant nutrition, and it gave me something to build because I'm a workaholic.
It just gave you some attention, something to put your attention to.
It did, and it was a group of people that want to change their life and be healthy. So not only am I trying to quit drinking and trying to not use, but now I got this health product that's making me feel better, and it's brand new on the East Coast, and we can build a business to it. So it was like the best of both worlds. But people looked at me like, "You're out of your mind, kid.
Yeah.
You're out of your mind, kid.
Yeah.
We saw you last month."
Yeah. No life-changing decisions in your first year.
Yeah,
no way.
Yeah, right. No, definitely not. So
no relationships either.
And Rob Pagnano will tell you too. And it's crazy how people will like run with you, take a shot of whiskey, blow a line off the back of the toilet bowl. Right? You ever go back to the surfaces you used to use in the old bars?
Come
and
on.
You're like,
Ugh.
throw up in your mouth looking that way.
Exactly.
People will do that, but they won't try a product that's proven to help the quality of your life and nutrition.
Right. Oh, I ain't taking that.
They're like, you're fucking mental.
Want to set me up another line on the back of that shitter,
Yeah,
though?
that's exactly. Once, this is a terrible story. Once I left my license with the line on it in the bathroom and left and went home. Oh, no way. And we figured it out, and I was there right before they opened the doors the next morning, still awake. And ran in, and they're like, what are you doing? We're not even going to serve anybody till a half hour. I'm like, no, I'm good. I just got to use the bathroom.
That's a rookie move.
Oh,
you left your license with the Coke on it. Wow.
That's where we were at.
That's
where
like
we were at. Because I wasn't by myself in the bathroom.
Listen. I did crystal meth out in California. I think the longest I was ever awake was like 14 days.
Stop.
I could see pterodactyls.
Stop.
Listen, I'm out by Edwards Air Force Base. There's friggin' stealth fighters. I'm like, they're following me. Like, this is where they tested all this stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm driving through the desert, and the reflectors on the highway.
Yeah.
It's like my headlights are hitting them, and it's like a fucking laser beam, and I'm like.
Oh, God.
Dude, the other night I watched that movie Spun.
Yeah.
I was like, that was my fucking life.
Oh,
that was my life.
We had no problem driving on 3 days no sleep. 2 days no sleep. We had no problem. We would set them up while we were driving. Never, not once didn't have a road soda, and not one DUI. I was the guy. I got the van. I have the van. I took all the band equipment to every show for over 10 years. Would buy everything, would line them all up, would do them in the ride, and by the grace of God. But my brother my brother got 2 and lost his license for 5 years, almost went to jail. Adam, his story's amazing. Yeah. Wait till you get some time with him.
It'll be coming soon.
We played a place in Kingston. It was called Frankie D's.
Frankie D's barbecue place?
Yeah.
Oh, what happened? That
he
place
moved to
was
Texas.
so
I still talk to him.
That place was so good.
We played that.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
Frankie
about.
D's, and he left.
Exit 10.
Yeah, baby, Kingston. Yeah, and he left and had to go home. He was in the hearse, and he got pulled over in the hearse at 90 miles an hour on 44, 50 mile an hour speed limit. If you get doubled, I doubled it once. I almost doubled. I got caught 118 miles an hour in a 60. And they pull it automatically if you double the speed limit.
Yeah.
And that was his second DUI, and we still didn't learn.
Nope.
Yeah. We still didn't care, and we still drove around like crazy. But I never, by the grace of God, and I always had 5 people in the back with the equipment.
Listen, I was the guy that was in the. If I lived in LA, I would have been on TV all the fucking time because I had so many police chases. Yeah. Like serious, like it was. The lights went on, the foot went down, and it was because I didn't want to be sick.
We did that on our street bikes a lot. No one ever caught me on my street bike. We bend the license plate up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I got away from the police in a Geo Metro, 3 cylinders. Don't mess with that.
Stop. That's in the back roads.
True story. No, in the back roads through the woods to. I saw the parking lot through the woods. I went right through the trees, rolling rocks out of the way. So I get.
Oh yeah, pull into somebody else's driveway.
Yes,
we used to do that. We'd pull into somebody else's driveway, kill the lights, kill everything, stop, let the cop roll by.
Yep.
Hopefully they don't turn their lights on in the house. We were terrible. It was crazy, but I never killed anybody. Like my we still got some family issues, and one of my family members started at 9 a.m. yesterday morning at Graham's funeral.
The feelings are
it was
so we run from it.
Horrible, but then he tried to drive out of there.
Yeah.
And we had to fight his keys out because it wasn't about him we were worried about. It was who you going to crush on your way home that's just trying to go home to see his kids.
Exactly. Right. Just getting out of work. 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
It's not fair.
But we didn't think about that. We didn't think about the consequences of what I was doing getting behind the wheel. Like, I like to turn the ignition over while it was coursing. The last shot was still coursing through my veins, and then start rolling. It was it was just nonstop.
Well, life in sobriety becomes something so much more significant and so much more beautiful, and you respect yourself so much more. I can't express how grateful I am to not be that person who I was. Because I was that same person I'd wake up and grab the whiskey bottle right off the rip, you know what I mean, and start going. After leaving it there where it was the night before.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just oblivion, and it's not you. It's not really who you are.
Yep.
You know, you're a drunk person. Is that who you really are? No.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was ruining every aspect of my life, and I remember going down to do laundry and I'd have my shit on the dryer, and in the 6-pack in the little fridge next to it, and she's upstairs watching a movie, and it's like fucking Thursday night.
Yeah,
I've
you're
been
doing laundry for 4 hours.
and I'm still like I'm like hiding it from.
You can't even fold the shit.
And then I'm going.
No,
I'm just sick. just sick. I don't feel good again.
Yeah.
I don't feel good again, babe. No, you go to. I'll be back later.
I gotta finish this laundry.
It was terrible.
You washed the same load like 5 times.
Clean his laundry.
Babe, their work clothes. The glue
they're
from the flooring.
disgusting. They're disgusting.
It's the mastic.
It's terrible. It was terrible. But then you're trying to think back. Like, where did it start?
Yeah.
How did it get so out of control? So fast. How am I drinking every day? How do I have the shakes if I'm not drinking? And it got to a point where I couldn't have just 2 or 3 beers because I tried not to Coke.
Yeah.
And then at night not come back. Well, I couldn't sleep without an oxy or how did it get there?
Yep.
How did it get to that point?
Where was that line that I crossed? You know?
Where was that line? And it just hit me so hard that day that I dropped Adam off at 5:30 in the morning on Tuesday night, January 20th, 2016, because we had tried so many times before, crying, breakdown, I'm done, I'm going to quit, fucking that's it, I can't anymore, because my heart feels like it's going to, I felt like so many nights I was going to literally have a heart attack. And remember those where it's beaten out of your body and you're scared, but you can't go to the hospital, but I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to wait. I don't know what's going to happen.
And I'm sure that you were sincere at that time. But then that power of choice had been taken from you many years before that.
That's right.
And
you
now you
can
can't.
give that power away again at any time.
You know,
but right now you still have it.
I still have it right now.
Yes.
You know, and I still have my time back in my life. And I got these 2 beautiful baby boys, 6-year-old twin boys that they will never see me have a drink. Ever. When I watched my family, it didn't matter who saw what, my family was kind of like, bring me some. You can come over as long as you can. I can get That's how my family was, and to have these boys that we're responsible for now, we're setting an example. I never had to set an example, and that alone will keep me on the straight.
Yes.
But it's just on this time, I cared. This time it didn't matter what anyone said or what they thought, because my brother-in-law was doing it with me. That was another thing, is that I had an accountability partner this time.
Hey,
that was
willing companions, man.
That's a good thing.
Was willing to do it. When we went to on Union Street in Rockland, the young people's meeting, and that's where I met.
Started that.
No way. That's where
Rockland
Shawnee
young
Mack.
People?
Yeah, Sean Mack took me. That was my first meeting.
I started that meeting.
No way.
Yeah.
So
that was my home group.
Dan Burke.
Yeah.
Danny Burke. Danny Burke was a contractor. I do a lot of work for him. Great, amazing dude. Just had a baby, built a house.
Yes. Listen,
you know,
I've been there since Dan's first day.
Stop.
Listen, 2, 3 in the morning. Hey, I gotta move.
Yeah.
All right, where we going?
Yep.
Like serious. Like
That's so awesome.
Dan needed work.
Yeah.
A buddy of mine had a company. He said, "Hey, I'm looking for a painter." I said, "Listen, I don't know if this kid can paint.
Yeah.
But he'll show up."
Yeah.
And look at Dan now.
Yeah.
Burke Development.
It's huge.
He's killing it.
4 or 5 trucks.
Killing
multi-million-dollar business.
Killing it.
Wow. He's killing it. I was just talking to him not too long ago. Great guy.
Mack.
Shawnee Mack. Big up to Shawnee Mack.
Yep.
Shawnee Mack was sober before I was.
So
and he did it.
I knew you. I had to have seen you there.
Yeah.
Had to have.
Yeah. Those were the first meetings I ever attended.
Nice.
And then it was in Rockland, and then I was living in Pembroke and found out on right down the street from me on Mattakeesit Street, they were having another meeting at 7:30 at night on Thursday nights. And my friend Brian Cademan was going to that.
Yeah.
K5 Auto. Big plug for you right there. He's kept my vans on the road. Got me a sticker. I don't know how, brother, but you are the man.
I think I've seen. Is it
need
in Pembroke?
He's in Pembroke. K5 Auto.
I
You
know
need a
it.
really
I
good
know it.
mechanic in your life. And he was running partner. You know, we'd go get the car worked on for like 8 days.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah.
It was like, and he introduced me to that. And you know, Shawnee Mack was doing it before any of us of our group. But you know, we just had we had so far to go, and we had no idea what was in store for us. But it was a first step. It was a first step, and I saw people there I knew. And what you have to do, and this is why Sobriety Rocks is going to be so powerful, because you have to connect with other people with the same story, right?
Yeah.
My story is different from yours. My story is different from yours. My story is personalized to me, but there are other people who have the same exact feelings and story.
Yeah.
With the same exact problem that I have. And that's what's the power of this, and that's what it came to me. You know, that's why it's so important to be in a group setting of something. I'm not saying you have to go to every single meeting.
Right.
It's going to help, and it's you got obviously it's tremendous in a lot of people's recovery, but you got to be a part of something. And I'm hoping that Sobriety Rocks can be an outlet where you can be from your house.
Yeah, exactly.
You could be lying about not drinking. I'm not sure. You might be.
Yeah.
47 days sober, but you just somebody just saw you have a
bullshit.
drink. Maybe, possibly, but it's at least going to help you stay plugged in and give you a chance to connect with people that want to help. And it's like the group thing, especially with Julie Ayotte, 5 days sober now.
Yeah.
You know, and she was like attacked with an abundance of love and support immediately. And I think that is the determining factor, knowing that people care and you're not alone, you know, in it, you know.
Fantastic, brother. Hey, we've been going. We got to wrap it.
So, yeah, man, we can have
haven't
you back.
scratched the surface yet.
We can do part 2.
We can do part 2.
Can I
continue.
bring the acoustic guitar?
Hey,
Oh, yeah.
Can we
let's
rock-
do
can
it.
we-
listen. So we can bring Sobriety Rocks. We can bring the Life on Life's Terms podcast to Recovery Graffiti 24hourpower.com
Now we're
over
talking.
in Whitman.
Now we're talking.
They're gonna have open mic.
Yep.
You guys want to set up? You guys
Yep.
want to play acoustic?
Let's do
You
it.
know, do
That'd
some
be
unplugged
fantastic.
version.
Let's do it.
Like,
Listen, so we want to also start thinking about getting a fundraiser going on for us. You know, probably 6 months or something like
Yes.
that, because we're gonna move into our next phase of our development.
yes.
You know,
I'm
soon.
very
We'll be
excited to
talking
watch the
that
growth
and,
about this.
We
Yeah, for sure.
Mike, we were talking to Mikey Dyer.
Mikey
He's
D.
he's got a vision.
Mikey D's got a big vision. He's a visionary.
Yes.
And we were thinking the same thing. We're gonna wait. We're gonna have the growth of the group for a few months. We wanted to link up with you guys and you know, really take from all different angles how we can grow
Collaborations,
and
man.
collaborate. And then we want to throw our first event, you know, whether we collaborate with you guys in the summer.
Yeah.
We want to have an outdoor music, fun, games, kids. You know, everything
yeah.
goes to the charity that we're going to pick. You know, we're going to have merch, gear. We're working on becoming a nonprofit right now. There's a few hoops that we have to jump through to get there and some tape, but we're going to cut it and we're going to get in. But we have big plans, and I know you do too. And you guys, you know, I know can take this to the forefront. You know.
So yes,
we're gonna try. We're gonna
Sobriety
do our best.
Rocks,
Sobriety
Life on Life's
Rocks,
Terms
Life on Life's
podcast.
Terms podcast.
We are last call, baby. Last call. Check us out.
LOLTERMS.com.
Yes, LOLTerms.com. Like,
Thank-
subscribe, share.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Peace.
Peace out. Whoa.